Hello there. So this is going to be my video on the flying pawn. Just to show you to start with, it's in this folder here. It's a very simple cube that has thrusters around each side, and it also has 3 thrusters on the inside as well. Left right thruster, up down thruster, and forward backward thruster. They're pretty self-explanatory really. How they work is they either apply a positive or negative thrust depending on whether you're going forward, backwards, or up or down, or left or right. So the way that works is here in the event graph. So when the input axis is activated, in this case the trigger on my controller, or W on my keyboard, for now anyway. Well, that's there for that. I haven't actually figured out how to do input axis for the other inputs, but I'll get to that. So what it does is it applies 50,000 thrust. There is also a linear boost here, which I will get to in a moment as well, because that's pretty key to the rest of the cube. So what I've done with now let me think. If I go to my map and I bring up one of the flying pawns, so I go to a level. Let's go to the barbecue level, and let's get to the flying pawn here. So as you can see here on the side, I've got linear boost and angular boost. The linear boost is for the forward, backward, up, down, and left, right movement, and the angular boost is, there it is for the rotation movement. So yaw, pitch, and roll. The linear boost. So the reason for this is because when flying around on the map, which I guess I can. Oh, bit of music. I'll just go with a bit of music. When I'm flying around on the map, the cube would hit something, like the planet, for example, and it would bounce all over the place. So I was like, right, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. We can't have that. So I applied, well, first off I tried to increase the mass of the cube. This was a bad idea, because it has all sorts of other ramifications. So what we did instead was to, yeah, there's mass in kilograms. That's up to 100 anyway, but I don't know whether that's the standard setting. But what we did was instead was to alter this here, the inertia tensor scale, which, for want of a better way of putting it, stiffens the axis that you alter. So I'm pointing at it like you can see me where I'm pointing on my screen. I have my mouse for that. So sorry, this is like one of the first videos I've made like this, so you have to bear with me a little bit. So if I was to put these to 1, that would bring the inertia tensor scale back down. When I hit something, that's what would happen. If I put this up to like 10, then the cube would just sort of hit it, and it probably wouldn't bounce anywhere. So it's sitting at 4 at the moment, but the problem with that is that obviously when you stiffen the movement effectively, because that's what it's doing. It's not just stiffening the impact movement and the spinning. It's also stiffening up the actual movement itself. So that's what the boost is for. Because don't ask me to go into the details or explain why fully. But if you just put this number here up to say 5 million or billion or whatever the hell stupid number that you end up going up to with these things, it is way too much boost. What you do is you actually multiply the boost in this this setting here. So the linear boost is 40 times 50,000. The angular boost, so at the moment it's 2,500. The angular boost is 400 times 2,500. So I mean, I could put that. You could play around with the math on that. But really, what I was told was that this is a better way of doing it. I'm not the expert when it comes to that sort of thing. I just design these levels and the game itself and the gameplay and things like that. In terms of implementation, I speak to people who are much cleverer than I, who understand these systems a lot better than I do, and they give me these bits of advice to implement these things. I do my best to understand it and to implement it myself, but obviously there's only so far you can take that, I'd love to see them, those people who've gotten rather irritated at me for not fully understanding the methods by which I've built these things. But I'd love for them to, I'd love for that to flip and for them to see if they can put together rules and gameplay mechanics and whatnot, and devise those things without them being broken, as broken as some of the things that I built on their advice. But anyway, I digress. So next, so it's simple ones actually. These ones, I figured these ones out myself. So the stop one is just to stop the ship. Again, simple. Set all physics linear velocity and angular velocity to 0, so it just stops the ship dead. The reset orientation, on the other hand, is a bit messier. It's for when you're random angle in space and you don't know where you're facing, what's going on, so you need to like reset your orientation to 0, 0, 0, although it would be nice to be able to just alter one of those as opposed to all three, because I want to just be able to flip you back to flat, as it were. But at the moment it resets, like, so if you're like this, it'll reset you all to that, which is quite jarring. What I want to do is to do that. So, or if you're like that to that, or that to that, it's easy to reset your orientation to like 0, 0, 0, but that's not what you're wanting to reset to. You're wanting to reset to like where you're at, but flat, effectively. Yeah, so I think you get, because people aren't stupid, contrary to what I might believe. Okay. So, this one is for the projectile, so this is the gun. The gun's really simple. It's literally just a pipe there. You can see if I can get close enough. There, so it's just a pipe with a ball that's spawned and thrown out of it. I didn't really need the pipe, really. I could have just fired off of the cube, but it's better to have the gun, I think, because then I can replace it with something later. So yeah, so basically it gets the location. This is what this does here. It gets the location of the ship and fires a projectile forward from that position. There. So yeah. So that's what this. Yeah, that's what this is. Okay.